and opinions expressed in this broadcast do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions of WBGR Network. Any questions or concerns about what is said should be directed to the show host, whose information will be provided upon request.
Good morning, y'all. It's your boy Shane Hector, no BS, no host, ball sports talk show. I know you guys were missing me last week, but unfortunately, I had to take care of a family matter with the unfortunate passing of my aunt Ruth. Ruth Mahomes? She had went home at the age of 65, so I had to go home and take care of that. So I definitely wanted to at least acknowledge. My family up in Detroit. The whole Mahomes family, my cousin Sean, Les, and Mahomes himself, my uncle. So I wanted to at least acknowledge those, that isn't most close to her, which is my family. And, it's unfortunate, but, at the end of the day, she lived a very good life. So, just wanted to at least thank you guys for your hospitality and tell you guys that I love you right here from the No BS, No Holds Barred Sports Talk Show. And of course, my team sends our condolences to you guys. Okay, so getting right into it, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to jump into it. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. And we're going to talk about a lot of craziness that's been happening this past week. So let's just go straight to it. So that number to call is going to be 301-429-9247. But look at the topics today. So the topics that we have today, we're going to be talking a little bit about the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to talk about Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz Jr. That's going to be a funny fight. I can't wait. And then we're going to talk about the helmet controversy, especially with Antonio Brown sounding off. And then, of course, he's losing his arbitration to the NFL about the helmet. And then, of course, we're going to also talk about Drew Brees and Tom Brady after this article that I read about the decline of the great quarterbacks. I don't really see a decline, but who am I? I'm just the guy that's just analyzing the game. So, with that being said, I don't know if you guys notice. You notice my tie is a little, blue and black. So I wanted to give a huge shout out to my Uncle Mahomes because, he's a funny guy. He believes that the Detroit Lions are going to go 15-1. I said, Unc, you must be crazy. Because these Cowboys fans got something to say about that. Consider we got to talk about their quarterback and their receiver and their running back. So let's jump straight into it. Again, 301-429-9247 if you guys want to call. And if you guys want to talk smack to me or whatever have you. Because I'm about to go in on the Dallas Cowboys right now. And huge shout out to my homegirl Kia, who's in the back. She's my engineer today. She's doing her thing, but she's the diehard Cowboys fan. So I have to talk about her Cowboys this morning. So we're just gonna go. Let's go straight into it. All right. So right here, let's shake the money tree real quick. Let's just shake it. Okay, let's shake that money tree real quick. See, in the words of my man Jerry Maguire, is it okay? Is it from the movie? All right. Show me the money. Oh, you gonna show me the money? Because here's the problem. We gotta talk about these three fools right behind me. Well, maybe two of them are not fools, but we're gonna talk about the number one fool, who I believe is not. Just no. Like this is all the way disrespectful. It is blasphemy. Okay. Now I'm about to raise my voice. I am in no mood to talk about this craziness. Today is one of the worst days. I ain't trying to talk to anybody. Because this don't make no sense. You're an average quarterback who only averages maybe 22 touchdowns a year. Maybe. Let's jump right to it. Matter of fact, go to that slide. Let's go talk about Dak. We're going to talk about Dak. This dude is off the chain. First off, all right, you're 6'2", 238 pounds. All right, 32-16. That's out of 40. Okay, that's out of 48 games. All right. I want people to understand something. That means that's only what, 3 years? 3 years. 3. So that's 3 seasons. All right. So that means you've only won. Let's see. I don't know. Maybe just maybe, you've won about 12 games a year. You won 12 games a year. I'll give you that. Maybe not, actually. Okay? Maybe not even that. The thing that's really bothering me about Dak Prescott, this was really bothering me about this. You only got 67 passing touchdowns. You thrown 25 picks. Okay, congratulations. You thrown for 10,876 yards with a pass completion of 66.1% since you came in the NFL. That's cute, but here's the problem. Have you won a playoff game? Have you gotten to the NFC Championship? Have you made it past that divisional point? No, you haven't. Ever since you came in the NFL, you never won the divisional because you lost to Green Bay. Then you made it to the divisional last year, and you lost again. I don't know what else to really say except, and then you're going to demand and going to say that you're worth more than $30 million a season. I'm going to say this about Dak Prescott, and I'm going to make it very clear to every single Cowboys fan who keeps on talking like this dude is that good, because I don't understand why did I don't even try, I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to fathom how you could even say this man is even worth being paid as a top 5 quarterback. These numbers right here are not top 5 quarterback numbers. Sorry. They're not top 5 quarterback numbers. He's just not. It's just what it is. Okay? Let me tell you why they're not top 5 quarterback numbers. Drew Brees only played 15 games last year because he didn't play the last game, but he threw for 3,992 yards, 32 touchdown passes, and only 5 interceptions. That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. You're gonna tell me that this dude need to get paid more than him? Tom Brady threw for 4,000 last year, 29 touchdown passes and 11 picks. And you're saying to me that Dak Prescott is worth more than the best quarterback in the league? Cowboys fans, you better call Jerry Jones and you better tell him it is not in your best interest to pay this man. It is not in your best interest. What's in your best interest is to make sure that you keep the core nucleus of your team intact. Which brings me to my next guy. So, just least to say this, Dak Prescott is not worth the money. Not worth it. He needs to drop that price down. $20 million a season? Maybe. I'll say 20 mil. But definitely not 30, 35, or 40 mil. Nah, he's tripping. Let's go to that next one. We're going to talk about my next guy. My main man, Zeke. Ezekiel Elliott. Let me tell you why he is most certainly worth the money. 6 foot 228 pounds, running a 4.40 out of the Ohio State University. Okay, so we're gonna talk about that. Had 4,048 total yards in his 40 games. Ran for 28 touchdowns, averaging a 4.7 yard per carry average. And over 868 attempts. That's not supposed to be yards, y'all. It's supposed to be 868 attempts. Okay? Here's the situation. So let's just get into it. The situation is this about Ezekiel Elliott. Excuse me. Zeke accounts for over 70% of the Cowboys' offense. And then when Jerry Jones said that you don't win Super Bowls off of having a star running back, first off, that's not true, because let's be honest now, you won 3 Super Bowls because you had a star running back in my man Emmitt Smith, Hall of Fame running back Emmitt Smith. Okay, so let's be honest now, Mr. Jones. You and I both know that you need to stop it and just deal with it. Just pay them. Is it okay? All I got to say is this when it comes to Ezekiel Elliott. Your pockets are lined up here. In those pockets is change. Pay the man. Pay the man. That man needs to be paid. Pay him yesterday. You miss it. Is it because I'm going to say it like this. If you start this NFL season without this man in your backfield, you're going to be in very, very deep trouble. And I'm going to tell you why you're going to be in deep trouble. A lot of Dak Prescott's plays are based on play action because the Cowboys run more play action than any other team in the NFL today. Okay? Reason that is because they have a really great running game when it comes to Ezekiel Elliott because Ezekiel Elliott is getting a lot of those runs. They did sign Alfred Morris, but he's not Ezekiel Elliott. He cannot do the same things as Ezekiel Elliott because Elliott catches the ball out the backfield. You can split him out wide for a pass, okay? Because he's got good hands. The great thing about having a running back that can run the football and catch the football, you can do many different things. That's the reason why Le'Veon Bell was very successful with the Pittsburgh Steelers before he held out last year. Okay, it was as simple as that. So if I'm going to say anybody who needs to be paid, it most certainly needs to be Ezekiel Elliott. And it's not fair. It is what it is. But you know what? This man has endured more stuff that I've seen in any other player in the NFL. It's just ridiculous. I mean, this man was accused, had an allegation against him. You know, it was a #MeToo allegation. Then on top of that, he got through that because law enforcement did the investigation and found out the girl was lying. And the league still suspended him 6 games for that. Not fair. But in that season, he finished the season with 983 yards rushing in 10 games. If he would have finished the entire season, I'm pretty sure he would have got 1,600, possibly as a bare minimum of 1,500 yards. He was on par, and the Cowboys probably would have made the playoffs that year, but unfortunately they didn't. But it is what it is. Not fair, and that's why I always go back to that CBA, which is why these guys need to start getting their fine money ready, because it's not going to be good for the rest of the NFL if they don't take care of that situation. Just saying. Let's go to my man Amari Cooper. So Amari Cooper, he also, got a little controversy. Now, in his years, excuse me, in the NFL, 25 touchdown catches, 3,908 yards, 278 catches, 61 games, standing at a 6'1", 210 pounds, running a 4.4 240. Okay, this dude is a straight up dog. And last year he finished the season with 1,005 yards. Most of those yards coming from when he played with the Dallas Cowboys because he was traded mid-season from the Raiders to the Dallas Cowboys. The guys who won that trade most certainly was the Dallas Cowboys. If I'm a Cowboys fan, I'd be highly concerned if this guy doesn't get paid. Excuse me, y'all. I'm a little bit under the weather. This guy right here is the truth. That man got hands for days. My only concern about Amari Cooper is that they need to open up the playbook a little bit more. And if you want Dak Prescott to say he earned this money, he needs to throw touchdowns to this guy and get him at least 10. Get him at least 10 touchdowns. At least. Maybe even 12. Maybe even 13. possibly 16. Who knows? All I'm simply saying is, you got a guy like Amari Cooper who got hands. He played at Alabama, okay? And the great thing about Alabama receivers is that with Alabama receivers, there's not one of them that don't have hands. You see Julio Jones. You see Calvin Ridley, okay? Kevin Norwood, I mean, we don't know what happened with him because he's somewhere. You know, it is what it is with him. But, but a lot of Alabama receivers got hands for days. And they make a lot of big plays. And it's no different with Amari Cooper. No different. And that's why, if I had to say a guy that it's either a maybe or leaning towards, yes, you need to pay the man. I believe maybe you pay this man. However, what I'm going to say is this. I would pay him just enough to keep him happy, but not so much that you hurt the team. Because the problem is you're going to end up having to pay a couple of guys on that defense, because cornerback Byron Jones is a dog. We saw how he made the Pro Bowl. We saw how he made the top 100 this year on the top 100 NFL countdown, which I thought was pretty dope for Byron Jones. So hats off to him, like what I saw with that. So with that being said, do I believe the Cowboys can save their season if these guys hold out? Maybe. We don't know. But I will say this. If these guys are on the field, I already had the Cowboys being the number 2 seed in the NFC. Not even a question. Eagles fans might get mad at me for that. And Redskins fans for sure going to get mad at me for that. But I don't really kind of care, because the Cowboys they got the team. They got the defense, they got the offense. But the offense got to stay intact. And if this offense is not intact, they're going to have a very serious problem going into the season. So, with that being said, I'm going to take a quick commercial break. When I come back, we're going to talk about some other topics for the day. So don't go anywhere on the No BS Show.
WBGR Network Client Appreciation and Networking Event.
What have you gotten out of this Appreciation Day today?
Well, this has been a wonderful day. I'm really pleased to be able to network and meet so many fabulous people that are on the WBGR network. It's really amazing, all the wonderful talent and all the wonderful programs that WBGR showcases every day. It's been a tremendous blessing to me to be here.
Look at the bright white canvas that's sitting in front of me that's blank, and I get frustrated because I can't think of any images to make. I'm discombobulated, trying to find the right words to get articulated, speech becoming modulated. I guess what I'm trying to state is, I'm tired.
This is the moment where you do the little snaps on there, because this needs all the, I wish I could make my toes snap.
Amazing event, WBGR, and this event is tremendous. We have so much talent.
And I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to talk about boxing right now. So for those of you who just like my post in the boxing group, I'm glad you guys are liking it, because guess what? Now we're going to talk about boxing. So, so let's jump straight into it, right? So Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz Jr., they're clearly going to have a rematch. We already know why they're going to have a rematch, because Joshua really wanted Deontay Wilder that bad. And I'm like, dude, you just got your butt whooped by Andy Ruiz Jr. You just lost. You lost in a dramatic fashion. And like you got smacked, homie, you got destroyed. So I'm trying to, figure out is, and it's like you lost by technical knockout, okay? So let's be real with each other, okay? Let's be real with each other. This is what's gonna be sad for Anthony Joshua. His shot at fighting Deontay Wilder has just went through the tubes. You're now 29 years old. You're 6'6". And you feel certain it does not look good that you lost to Andy Ruiz Jr., because nobody really cared about Andy Ruiz Jr. like they used to. Shout out to Miss Mary Mitchell. I want to thank you for tuning into the show. So, thing is, both fighters both fighters have at least one loss on their record. So Anthony Joshua is 22-1. Andy Ruiz Jr. is 33-1. Okay? Now, Andy Ruiz Jr. has got 22 knockouts in his whole career. Here's the thing, though. Both fighters are the same age. And the thing is, both fighters are orthodox fighters, and they're both in the heavyweight division. But here is, this is what bothers me about Anthony Joshua. And this is why I said to people he was not ready for Deontay Wilder. Because you could barely even. Everybody wants to make it seem like Joshua had did something great after he beat Klitschko. Okay, you beat Klitschko. Nobody cared about Klitschko. Nobody cared about Klitschko. Like, nobody cared. Like, I've seen a lot of great fighters, especially in this division. I've seen a lot of great heavyweight fighters, and then everybody was like, "Oh, well, he fought Joseph Parker." Who was Joseph Parker? Just keeping it 100. Who was Joseph Parker? Oh, nobody. My bad. Okay. Mind you, it was a unanimous decision that you won that fight. Then you're going to fight Povetkin. Okay, and I get it. He was 34-1 coming into that fight. I'm sorry, 34-0 coming into that fight. Next thing you know, you beat him. He's 34-1. But then you fight Andy Ruiz Jr., and now you catch your first loss. And that's not good. I'm going to tell you why that's not good. Because, see, now, if I'm Deontay Wilder, I'm not even thinking about fighting you. I'm not even going to bother in fighting you, because you're a waste of my time. And because you're a waste of my time, I'm now not even going to think about you. I'm going to think about fighting this dude, Tyson Fury. That's what I'm going to think about fighting. Just because with Tyson Fury, that's a much tougher fight. He's a bigger dude. And on top of that, with that fight, Tyson gave him a true run for his money. I mean, a true run for his money. I mean, that was a very, very serious fight. I mean, and the thing about Fury, and I have to say, watching it, over and over again, Tyson was taking Wilder to school. My man said, "Let me take out a pencil and pad, because I'm going to take you back to school." And that's what happened. He took out that pencil and pad, and he took him back to school. Now, the only issue is ended in a draw, obviously, because of, because I hate to say it, like, you get 2 knockdowns by Deontay Wilder. I mean, you kind of should have expected, somebody to really, pay attention to that, And that's why I feel like if you're gonna watch boxing, if you're gonna watch this fight, it's gonna be something to watch. Because you know why? Because the thing is, I've been saying this for the longest. When you've got a guy like Joshua, when you got a guy like Andy Ruiz Jr., these two guys have been going at each other for quite some time. And then on top of that, you saw all the trash talking that these two fighters have been doing. And I like it because guess what? What's going to end up happening is somebody going to catch this knockout. And then that's going to be the end of that. Now, Joshua better not be on the receiving end of it, because if he's on the receiving end of this, I can just say this, and I'm going to say this once, and then that's going to be the end of that, and that's going to be the end of Anthony Joshua. I think that if he catches another loss, I don't think he's going to be the same in heavyweight fighting again. And, I don't think anybody's going to really pay no attention to him, because then he'll just become he'll just be the heavyweight version of Adrian Broner. And we all see what kind of fighter Adrian Broner is. Because if Adrian Broner was actually half the fighter that he could be, this dude would be a monster. But, hey, who am I? I'm just a guy that's just analyzing the situation. So, but at the end of the day, I think the thing that's most important, that I think that everybody needs to pay attention to, and I want everybody to watch when you see this fight. This fight is going to be in Saudi Arabia. Okay? This fight is going to be in Saudi Arabia. And I like what I see. I like what I see from these two, because I haven't seen a lot of fights overseas in a long time. Okay? We haven't seen a lot of that in a long time. And the truth is, I think what's going to be even more crazy is the fact that, you got two guys who are the most brash fighters we've seen in a long time. And we haven't seen a lot of great fighters go overseas and do the things that they do. So there's that. So at the end of the day, if Joshua loses, he needs not to even bother even trying to think about Wilder. I think he'll need to go back to the drawing board. He's going to have to really work his way back up again. He'll have to take a lot of mediocre fights and a lot of amateur fights, knock guys out in order to get back to that form. Because right now you lost at basically the prime of your career because of the fact that you were 22-0. I mean, that's just what it is. Those are the facts. You lost at the prime of your career, dude. You haven't even gotten to 30 fights yet. You didn't even get to 30 fights. I would have understood if you got to 30 fights, but you didn't even get to 30 fights. Wilder, who was born in 1885, made it to 40 fights. Made it to 40 plus fights. At this point, he can kind of command who he want to fight at this point. Okay? We already saw some of the sound bites that he's given, so we can't wait to see what happens in the future. So that's what it comes down to. Mr. Marcus Carter, I do see your comment. You said that you don't hear anything. I think you should be able to hear me now. So at the end of the day, like I was saying about Joshua and Andy Ruiz Jr., can nobody stop these dudes? Now, Ruiz Jr. has been sounding off this whole time because he's been trying to hype up this fight. He's been trying, and I get it because you're trying to make as much money as possible for this fight. The problem with this fight is that you're going to Saudi Arabia, and it's going to be overseas, and we're going to see how many people show up to this fight. And I mean, it's good for the country of Saudi Arabia because it's going to bring a lot of money there to that venue, to that place in Saudi Arabia. So it's going to be very, very interesting to watch this fight. Now, if I had to choose who I think is going to win this fight, do I think that Joshua will be better prepared? Yes. Do I think he's going to win? No. I don't think he's going to win because Ruiz already beat him once. And it's kind of like Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather. Now, if we see that fight, I'm not so sure that that Pacquiao will beat Mayweather. I just don't think that will happen. But I think he'll give him a run for his money because he already lost to him once. And he already knows his fighter. But we've seen this in boxing before where guys fight each other twice and, guys win. That's just what it is. So we've seen this in boxing before. So with that being said, before this fight is in the great kingdom of Saudi Arabia, okay? Before we see this fight, I'm going to say this. Anthony Joshua, you need this win. Because if you do not win this fight, you will not be you're not going to have even a shot at fighting Deontay Wilder. The only fighter right now that's going to fight Wilder is Tyson Fury. That's it. Simple as that. Nothing more, nothing less. You have to win this fight. And you need to continue winning. Because that's the only way you're going to even have a shot at even fighting Wilder. Because the only other fighter that's going to have a big chance to fight Wilder is going to be King Kong Ortiz. And that's assuming Wilder beats Fury, because Wilder's going to have to fight Fury again. And I believe that Wilder's got another fight coming up soon, as soon as possible. So there's that. So with that being said, I'm going to end this segment with this. Joshua got to win. This is a must-win fight for Anthony Joshua, and if Anthony Joshua does not win this fight, it's going to be the end of that. Andy Ruiz Jr., you cannot afford to lose this fight, because if you want a piece of Tyson Fury or Wilder or even King Kong Ortiz, you're going to have to win again and take this guy back to school. And like I always say, take out that pencil and pad, because we're going to take you back to school. When I come back, folks, we're going to talk about some more craziness. No BS, no holds barred sports talk show. Don't go anywhere.
Hello and welcome to the Breakfast Mojo. I'm your host, Comedian Koi. We are back. Once again, this time it's King versus Clown. The clown, which we're talking about here, is none other than McDonald's hotcakes. And now we're going to also try the Burger King sweet syrupy stacks. Look at the box. Isn't that cute? Little box. All right, so we're going to try and see which is going to be the preferred pancakes, McDonald's or BK, Burger King. Yeah, so it's nice and hot. So let's see what happens here, folks. Let's see what I'm going to give a review. So they come with 3 stacks, as you can see. 3. Oh, look at the syrup just oozing. Okay. Let's try this. Let's make a comparison. I need some water. These are falling apart. McDonald's, they didn't fall apart at all, but these are can't really keep their form after pouring syrup on them. There's definitely a distinct taste between the two of them. Similar, but yet distinctly different. But I noticed that Burger King pancakes are a lot more sweeter by itself. The syrup, it really doesn't need syrup. It really does taste like a cake, literally. McDonald's, on the other hand, really not much to go off of. It just tastes like bread. It's really your preference, folks. Do you want hot bread? Or do you want a stack of cakes? Because that's what it tastes like to me. So here's for my review. I'm gonna give this a breakfast booty. I'm gonna give it a breakfast booty. It's a breakfast booty. And I'm gonna give McDonald's a breakfast blah. Because it's really nothing fantastic, even with the syrup added to it. And even without the syrup, it's really nothing fantastic. I could at least say that BK does have a distinct taste without the syrup, which is more sweet, if that's what you prefer. So Would it be the McClown or would it be the King? You know, let us know at The Breakfast Mojo on WBGR Entertainment. I'm your host, Comedian Coy. We'll have some more stuff coming your way. We're going to even visit a chef that's going to cook for us, and we're going to eat it, huh? Because that's what we do at The Breakfast Mojo.
And I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's what I'm going to talk about. We're going to just touch on this NFL helmet controversy really quick, because this is the thing that really is kind of getting me about Antonio Brown and his dispute with the NFL over a helmet. Now, here's the thing. This has been the most bizarre offseason that I've ever seen for Antonio Brown, and I'm going to explain why. This dude was traded from Pittsburgh to the Raiders, okay? And I'm saying to myself, okay, I see why the Steelers did it, because they just wanted to get rid of the headache, okay? I get that. My only issue is that with Brown being unhappy in Pittsburgh, he decided to go to the Raiders, right? And that's fine. He didn't really decide. He got traded there, but, you know, that's what they do in the NFL. It's not like, you know, the NBA where a guy can request a trade and, you know, the NBA, then the team will actually try to do what their best to accommodate the player, you know, in the NBA without hurting the team, but also, you know, without hurting the player as well. Whereas the NFL, they can care less. They'll send you to the worst team in the NFL, which is the pettiest thing that most teams do. So that's why now nobody wants to send nobody to Cleveland anymore, because they saw what Cleveland did last year, which I find to be funny. See, now the Raiders is football purgatory, so that's just what it is. Now, Raiders fans, I know y'all gonna get mad at me, but I'm gonna just be 100 with y'all. Y'all just got the biggest headache in all of the NFL. Y'all have fun with that dude, because I like Antonio Brown. But the thing is, he's got to be with a coach that's gonna be digging his butt, because see, Mike Tomlin was just not that dude. Now the only problem is, can Derek Carr actually throw touchdowns to him? Now, Derek Carr threw for 4,000 last year, but he only threw on 19 touchdowns. That's an issue. But I know why he only threw 19 touchdowns. That's mainly because the Raiders were terrible last year. And on top of that, they barely had a running game. They were just a bad football team altogether last year. They traded their best defensive player in Khalil Mack, and now Khalil Mack, you saw what he did with the Chicago Bears. That team is going to be stellar this year. So there's that. But let's just get into it and talk about the controversy here. So when it comes to Antonio Brown, he definitely filed a grievance against the NFL. Because he wanted to have a certain helmet that it was able for him to wear. Because let's be real, it was giving him the performance that he wanted, and then on top of that, you know, he said it was protecting his head. But the NFL believed that the new helmets that they were using are going to give the players a better option of not only having a better helmet, so that way they don't get severe concussions or any type of brain injury and stuff like that. The problem is, this is where I have a huge issue with Antonio Brown. The problem is they let it be known. They let it be known that this helmet has been around for quite some time. It's been around for at least over a year. So there's kind of no reason why you really should have filed a grievance. I mean, but I get it. I mean, if the helmet makes it better for you, I get it. Totally understand that. But at the same time, my G, you work for the NFL. You abided by their bylaws. You the one who agreed with that CBA, because all of you players have voted for that CBA. That's the thing that gets me about a lot of the players in the NFL. If the players want what they want, right? They want what they want. What they're going to have to do is they're going to have to really stand up for themselves when it comes is it when it comes up to the NFL, because the truth is anybody could say it's just a helmet, you know, and everybody who doesn't play football doesn't understand like how a helmet feels. See, I used to play football myself. I know what it's like when you play wide receiver. I know what it's like when you play corner or safety or any of these other as a skill positions, right? So what people have to understand is certain helmets actually give you different kinds of things to deal with, because some helmets are lighter, some helmets are heavier, right? So what you want to do is you definitely, most certainly, want to be able to perform to the best of your ability without obviously hurting yourself. But at the same time, you can't allow people to just, you know, do whatever it is they feel. Now, in Antonio Brown's case, we're just going to be honest with each other now. Antonio Brown has to understand this and understand one thing and one thing only. For those of you who want to call in on this, it's called the number 301-429-9247. I think the Antonio Brown was reaching with this particular issue, because the problem is I get it. You had a little bit of support from the GOAT himself and Tom Brady. You had a little bit of support there. Okay. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like, you know, Tom Brady didn't sound off, because Tom Brady said that he was very uncomfortable with the new helmet. But at the same time, even though he was uncomfortable with the helmet, he was able to still win a Super Bowl with that same helmet. I mean, you saw the Super Bowl last year. Y'all saw the Super Bowl last year. He still won it. He still threw for 4,000 yards and 29 touchdown passes and 11 picks last year. I mean, there was no sign. There was no signs that helmet was really affecting Brady that much. But Antonio Brown says that it's also going to affect his vision. Now, this was an article that was published by SB Nation. Okay, and if you want to take a look at the author's name is by James Dater. So, now, the arbitrator had ruled against him. It is what it is. Now, he said that he was going to walk away from football, which he's not, because he was right back on the field. Y'all saw him in this past preseason game, which I thought was funny. He just wanted to use his old helmet. I hate to say this, dude. You're going to have to move forward without it, because the NFL is going to win again. And they're going to keep winning until the CBA is over with. So, fortunately, for anybody who's watching, and I want people to understand this, it's probably not going to be over until after 2020, because after 2020, it's going to be a new CBA. Now, they already started contract negotiations, so we're going to see how that goes. And, you know, and with that being said, you will seriously going to see exactly what's going to happen as far as all these players are concerned, and how they're going to have to come up with all these different issues and talk about the different things that's going to be on the table, so that way these players can be able to do the things that they want to be able to do in this NFL. Because the thing is, the NBA, these guys pretty much run the NBA. I mean, that's just pretty much what it is. I mean, the players have more power in the NBA than I've ever seen in any sport in the world. They have a lot more clout. They have a lot more power. The NFL, on the other hand, these guys don't have that kind of power. In fact, the guys who have the power is the owners. The owners, the GMs, anybody who works in the front office of any of these organizations, including the NFL, they have the power. And the players, well, they're just there. But there's that. So, with that being said, I'm going to take a quick commercial break. I'm going to end the show with talking about the decline, or not the decline, of Drew Brees and Tom Brady. So don't go anywhere in the No BS show.
Hello and welcome back to another Breakfast Mojo. I'm your host, Comedian Coy, and we're about to eat some breakfast. So come on, follow me. It's already set up. This is what I heard, so I have no idea what's expected. All I know is it's breakfast food, so let's see what it is. I have no idea what it is, folks. No idea. Here we go. Oh, wow, look at this. Legends. Okay. They got this thing all set up here. It's chicken and grill. So we're gonna see what the chicken is right now on the Breakfast Mojo. What do we have here? Chicken. And what else do we have here? Okay, waffles. Okay. So the chicken kind of threw me off because I'm like, it's breakfast. Hello, this is a Breakfast Mojo. Chicken and waffles. Got my syrup here. Should have been blindfolded when I was doing this breakfast, so I should. But let's see what it's like here. Wow, looks good. It cuts easily. Got a little white powder on it. Some butter. Okay, here we go. All right, let's see what it's looking like. At least you could have had the fork and the knife match each other. You know what I'm saying? But it's okay. Let's see what it's like here. Here we go. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Let's see what the chicken is like here. Got, some of y'all are saying, why don't you just pick it up and eat the thing? You know what I'm saying? Okay, here we go. So we got the... Very basic. Nothing fantastic. I wonder if I can do 2 reviews. One for the chicken and one for the waffle. I actually like the waffle. I think the waffle is very good. The waffle is the batter is very, what do you say? A little bit on the sugar side. The chicken, on the other hand, could be a lot better. I'm not really happy with the chicken as much. I don't think the chicken actually makes the waffle any better. I think the waffle actually complements the chicken. You know what I'm saying? So for my review, I will say breakfast brilliant for the waffle and breakfast blah for the chicken. Could probably do it separately. So that's all the review that we have. Thank you so much for tuning in. Look, what is your favorite waffle place? Do you have a chicken and waffle spot that you normally go to that you can recommend? If you do, write it in the comment. Let folks know, okay? Don't forget to subscribe. Breakfast Mojo. Take care.
Oh, my bad, yo. What's good? I'm back. I'm going to just say it like this, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to talk about the craziness, the blasphemy that's been coming out of these people's mouths these past couple of days, especially with some of these writers out here. Okay, so there was an article written by ESPN, okay, about Drew Brees. His name is Bill Barnwell. He's an ESPN staff writer, saying that Drew Brees is on the decline, which I don't see. I'm just trying to really understand, like, what is this man talking about, right? So, last season, in 2018 season, okay, I want people to understand something. He tried to say that basically that Drew Brees is not even completing 76% of his passes like he used to, and stuff like that, and he's at age 40, and his QBR rating is not the same anymore, and I'm like, this dude is using the TB12 method. I highly doubt that he's on the decline. And then there was somebody else who for the love of God, and I don't understand this, he keeps on saying that Tom Brady's on the decline. Let's make something very clear about both of these quarterbacks. First off, first take, everybody who knows Max Kellerman. Max Kellerman back in July of 2016 said it over and over and over again that Brady's gonna fall off a cliff. I don't see how he fell off a cliff because he threw for 4,000 yards last year, 29 touchdown passes, and 11 interceptions. He didn't fall off a cliff. That's just that's just normal Tom Brady numbers. The bare minimum is going to throw 28 touchdowns. Bare minimum. But when you say that this man is falling off of a cliff, I think that a lot of these people who overanalyze need to really go back and look at the stats and look at what they did last season. All I know is this: Drew Brees definitely threw for 32 touchdowns and 5 picks last year. Okay? And the only reason why he didn't even get a chance at the Super Bowl was because of a blown call, or was partly because of a blown call. I'm not going to say that was the sole reason why they lost that game, because I know New Orleans Saints fans, they want to keep saying that, and I'm like, no, that game wasn't won and lost on that one play. But I will say this. I don't believe Drew Brees is on the decline. Do I think that he's a little over 40? Yeah, of course. No question. But the facts are the facts. And Drew Brees hasn't really had like a really bad injury that really put him out for quite a significant amount of time. So that's what it is. But in the NFC title game, he had a QBR 54.9. Then he had then he thrown 2 touchdown passes, 1 pick. But it is what it is. But he's not declining. The question I always pose to writers like this, not to say that Mr. Barnwell's not a good writer, because he's an exceptional writer. What I say is when you say things like this, that he's on the decline, I would implore these guys to look at the eye test. Look at the eye test. What does the eye test tell you? So let's go into the stats. Let's start. Okay? So let's start with Tom Brady. 171 picks in his career, 517 passing touchdowns, 70,000 yards, 64% and completion rate for his whole career, 207 wins, 60 losses, 269 games. Okay, 6'4", 222 pounds. Okay, so that's just it. Okay, I want people to understand something. All right, the truth is, this guy got 6 rings. He got 6 rings. When the eye test tells you that there's something wrong, that's when you could come back and say, yeah, he on the decline. This man just got Josh Gordon back. Because for those of you who are Patriots fans, I want you to understand, Josh Gordon just got reinstated back to the NFL. He could join the team on, this coming Sunday. So he can't practice for the rest of the week. Okay? He can't practice until Sunday, which is good. Because he served a suspension. He's on a conditional. There's a conditional release right now, so he can get back with Tom Brady. That's good for New England fans because of the fact that the wide receiver core for New England is a little bit depleted right now because Julian Edelman's hurt. They have this young little rookie wide receiver, Harris, Marquis Harris. He was doing pretty good. Now N'Keal Harry, he was a little gimpy, but now he's looking good. And Demaryius Thomas is still out, so they needed him. Okay. Now, Ben Watson, love him to death, but guess what? He's going to be out for a couple of games due to suspension for violating the league's substance abuse policy. He did not appeal that decision. So there's that. Tom Brady's going to have a lot to work with. Then he's got James White, Sonny Michel, and then he just got Damian Harris from Alabama. You're telling me this dude is on the decline? This man has defied Father Time so many times, I don't even know what to say. So for Max Kellerman and any other reporter who keeps saying that they're on the decline, what does the eye test tell you? What does the eye test tell you? If the eye test tells you that these guys are done, that that's it, then that's a different story. But Tom Brady's not on the decline. Let's look at Drew Brees. Drew Brees is nowhere near on the decline. 6 foot 209. Okay? Not a big quarterback. 155, 108 in his career. Okay? Now, I want people to understand something about Drew Brees. 520 touchdown passes, 233 picks. So he's throwing obviously a lot more picks than the great Tom Brady. But he's got 74,437 yards passing throughout his entire career. And on top of that, he's got a Super Bowl ring. Got a Super Bowl ring. He's been knocking on the door to get back to the Super Bowl every year so far. This is what I see happening with the New Orleans Saints, and everybody's going to call me crazy. I'm predicting the Saints are going to be arguably one of the best football teams we've seen this year. They just paid Michael Thomas, so we know he's going to draw a lot of double teams. So a lot of those rookie receivers, they're going to have to step up. Because if they step up, or if and I kind of want this to happen actually, if the Saints make a midseason trade for a Pro Bowl caliber wide receiver. I don't know who that could be though, because the problem is there's not too many guys I think that a lot of teams would trade. Because I know Keenan Allen, I actually thought about it. What if Keenan Allen found his way to New Orleans? And I ain't gonna lie, that would be really, really good. But I'm just not so sure that that's gonna happen. Now they got Ted Ginn, so there's that. I think that this Saints team this year, with that defense, is going to be stellar. They're going to be great. They're going to put up a lot of points, and they're going to hold their opponents as it to very little points. The only team, though, that's going to give them some problems is the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys, for some strange reason, when they see the Saints, it's always a blowout. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. There are just some teams that just have your number. But the Dallas Cowboys, for some strange reason, always have their number. It is what it is. Do I see that this man is on the decline? Well, the eye test told me from last season, 3,992 yards, 32 touchdown passes, and only 5 picks. I think the eye test tells me that he's nowhere near on the decline, y'all. But hey, who am I? I'm just analyzing the situation. If anybody wants to debate me on this, again, that number to call, 301-429-9247. Okay? And so, with that being said, Drew Brees is probably going to light it up. And for everybody who keeps saying he's on the decline, all I got to say is let the eye test tell you. If the eye test tells you that he's on the decline, cool. But the stats don't tell me that he's on the decline. If anything, it tells me that he's remaining the same and they're just changing the game plan, especially since Alvin Kamara now, he's about to take the load because Mark Ingram is now gone. He's now with the Baltimore Ravens. So now they're going to have a very, very dynamic offense. This offense is probably going to be the most explosive Saints offense that we've seen in a long time. Because Alvin Kamara is going to get most of the load. He's going to catch a lot of footballs out of the backfield. You're going to get Michael Thomas, who just got his deal done. He's going to catch a lot of balls. Then you got in all these other receivers that's going to catch a lot of balls. At the end of the day, there's no reason why the Saints are going to be a bad football team because of him. They're going to be great. They'll be fine. I don't foresee what some of these writers are saying. So, Mr. Barnwell, this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to say this. I disagree with you. I respectfully disagree with you of your assessment of Drew Brees. I don't believe it. And for anybody, and for Max Kellerman to talk about Tom Brady falling off of a cliff, I do not foresee that happening. It's just not going to happen. And so therefore, these guys are going to light up the NFL. And that's the end of that. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you guys for tuning into the show today. I want to definitely thank all of you. I want you guys to go ahead and just watch and continue watching. So go to the Facebook group, No BS, No Holds Barred Sports Talk Show viewer group. I want you guys to go ahead and tune into that. For any of you who don't follow Facebook or are not on Facebook, you can go to YouTube. No BS, No Holds Barred Sports Talk Show. You can go on YouTube and look at past shows, or look at today's show if you missed it. Follow the blog on Blogger, No BS, No Holds Barred Sports Talk.blogspot.com. Look at some articles. I got some stuff coming out very soon. And then also follow me on social media. Follow me at Shane Hector and Shane_Shane29 Underground SB29 Shiz_29 No BS No Holds Bar at Underground Sports LLC.blogspot.com. And then if you want to advertise with the show, go to undergroundsportsllc@gmail.com. And ladies and gentlemen, I do have an announcement to make. Within the next couple of weeks, I got some stuff rolling out. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be really cool. I even have a new podcast coming out, and I will reveal the name next week. So, I will reveal the name of the podcast next week, so that way I can give you guys some more content, because I know some of you guys have been dying to hear from me about certain things, and they're going to be a lot more specific and detailed. So, No BS, Team No BS, the district. Thank everybody at WBGR. As a shout out to my homegirl Kia for running my show today. Thank you so much. Thank everybody who's been a part of the show this morning. No BS is out of the building. Peace.